Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming out tonight. We're going to try to get started right on time because we got a lot to get through this evening. My name is Samantha. I am the Vice President of the Duanesburg Community PTA, and welcome to the annual Meet the Candidates Night. Please be sure to join us afterwards for a meet and greet in the back of Joe Benna Hall. Before we get started, I'd like to thank the candidates for all coming out this evening. I'd also like to thank the Duanesburg Education Foundation for assisting with moderating this event. Thank Joe O'Neill for helping us with all the technical aspects and the live streaming. Thanks Serena Killenberger from the district office for helping us with coordinating and tablecloths and all of the little details. Want to thank Gus Geidel and Teresa Wood-Irvin. They're both former Duanesburg School District Board of Education trustees, and they'll be helping with question coordination this evening. I want to thank Dan Salza, who works over in the elementary school kitchen, for making the cookies and providing us with the coffee service this evening. Thank you to all the help we get from our wonderful custodial staff who helps get this ready and will help after it's all over. And thank everybody here. Oh, also, excuse me, I can't forget, Larnice Tetro, who is going to be our timekeeper for this evening. And yeah, thank you everybody for coming out tonight. At this time, I'd like to turn the microphone over to our moderator for this evening, DEF President Colleen Lowry, who has graciously offered to help us with tonight's forum.
Thank you, Samantha. So good evening, everyone. I'm Colleen Lowry, and I am the president of the Duanesburg Education Foundation and the moderator for tonight's forum. Both the Duanesburg Community PTA and the Duanesburg Education Foundation are nonpartisan organizations. We do not support or oppose candidates or political parties. This evening, we will give you an opportunity to gather information about the candidates for the Duanesburg School District Board of Education to help you make voting decisions. All of the candidates who will be on the ballot on May 19th have been invited to tonight's forum. These candidates are serving our community and participating in the democratic process by their willingness to run for a board trustee position. We have a few ground rules. We ask that no campaign signs, buttons, or literature be distributed in this room. Please silence your cell phones for the duration of the forum. No video or audio recording or pictures are allowed other than the video streaming provided by the Duanesburg School District for this event. You are welcome to submit written questions on the cards provided. The questions should be suitable for all of the candidates to answer. Please hold up your cards and an usher will collect them throughout the forum. Each candidate will be asked the same question. Questions will be screened, and questions that are unclear, hostile, or of personal nature will not be included. Similar questions may be consolidated. There is often not enough time to cover all the issues. Due to the number of candidates and our time limitations this evening, we will unfortunately be limited in the number of questions that can be asked. Please feel free to contact the candidates directly for more information. Candidates will have a 2-minute opening statement, 1 minute to answer each question, and a 1-minute closing statement. We have timers who will hold up a yellow paddle when there are 30 seconds left. You want to demonstrate for us? There it is. And a red paddle when it is time for the candidate to step. During the questioning time of the forum, the order of the candidates will be varied. After each statement or question, please hold your applause until all the candidates have spoken. Now, to introduce the candidates in alphabetical order, there are 5 for the 2 seats on the Board of Education. We have Tony Amorosi, Brandon Bailey, Craig Mascherone, Dana Messick, and Josh Oberkon. How about a round of applause for all of them being here tonight? So we will start then with a 2-minute introduction, and we will go down the row. So please begin, Ms. Amorosi. Your 2 minutes will start now.
My name is Tony Amorosi. I've been a member of the Duanesburg community, and more specifically, the Duanesburg School District, for almost 50 years. During that time, I have listened to students, parents, teachers, administrators, and taxpayers, and I do hear you. 6 years ago, I ran for the school board because I wanted to be actively giving back, and I stayed connected to the district that means so much to me. I am running for another term because of my sincere desire to represent all members of the Duanesburg community and actively work to achieve the best environment for the student learning. Attending school board meetings for many years and working as a as a board member has broadened my knowledge to the steps needed to provide the best outcomes for student education and growth. These steps are not always easy nor immediate. However, they need to be intentional and consistent with the philosophy of our district. Former students, my own daughter, and now my granddaughters, I have daughters, granddaughter, have benefited from the programs this district provides. I am an active supporter of educational, athletic, and extracurricular activities that provide opportunities for success, and I want these opportunities to continue for your children and grandchildren too. Thank you for coming and listening. Make your efforts count. Come vote next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Amorosi. Mr. Bailey?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out tonight and for your commitment to our schools. My name is Brandon Bailey. I'm 41, happily married, and the proud father of 4 daughters, one of them right there, hi Maddie, who attend Duanesburg schools. I grew up in nearby Galway, New York, and my family has lived in the Duanesburg Central School District since 2019. I am a U.S. Air Force veteran, New York State Court officer serving in Schenectady for the past 13 years. 5 of those, I did a part-time gig at the Duanesburg Town Court. I am also a former member of the Galway and Delancey Fire Companies, a current CSEA union steward, and an active volunteer with the Duanesburg Little League. I am running for the Duanesburg School Board because I am deeply committed to our rural community and believe every child in Delancey, or Duanesburg, and surrounding areas deserves an excellent education that prepares them for success while preserving the close-knit values that makes Duanesburg special. My motivation comes from my strong belief in transparency, leadership that asks right questions, sometimes tough questions, and genuine collaboration between parents, teachers, staff, and the board. With nearly 2 decades of public service and my experience raising 4 daughters in this district, I am ready to bring steady, accountable, and parent-focused leadership to the school board. I look forward to working together to strengthen our schools and serve our students and families. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. Mr. Mascherone?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming out, and also thank you everybody that's watching live stream that couldn't make it. Everybody has very busy schedules. I understand that, as I have a very busy schedule myself. My name is Craig Mascherone. I'm 45 years old. I'm married, father of 2. My son has graduated from Duanesburg and has moved on and is now in college, and we have an 11-year-old Gabriella who is in 5th grade. I have been a professional firefighter for the last 23 years in the city of Schenectady. I have risen to the rank of captain within that, as well as I was on the SPFA, so the Schenectady Permanent Firefighters Association board for 16 years. The last 6 of that, I was the president of the association. I also served with the Schenectady County Independence Party Committee, and I was on their executive board for 12 years. The reason for me running for the town of Duane, or for the school district, is that I have a significant board experience. I understand that the way things should work. I'm a big believer in transparency when it comes to the community. I think that sometimes we fall a little bit short when it comes to things getting out to parents and to the citizens within the community. Parents are probably the easiest thing to get information out to, but I'm not so sure it's the easiest thing to get information out to our retirees or maybe our new homeowners. That's the biggest thing, is that I want to be a voice for the parent within the school district as well as the retiree and the new homeowner that's moving into the district. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mascherone. Mr. Messick?
Hi, I'm Dana Mesick. I moved into this area 28 years ago now. I had 4 boys graduate through here, Dana, Jerry, Dallas, and Jacob. We absolutely love this community. My wife actually works for the district in the pre-K program. Um, and to be honest with you, I definitely feel the reason why I'm just going to be very honest and open. The reason why I'm running for board is there's 4 major things for me. I think that we need a administrative change. I think we need to work on our budgeting, more open, honest, so the taxpayers can really see where the money is going. There's some good information out there, but not totally. So we can actually do a vote and feel like we're actually helping the kids. Number 3, my big thing is the grounds and the building conditions, and I'm not talking construction, just the cleanliness, the way our grounds look. I feel a lot of small things are not getting done. So in my years of management, when the small things are not getting done, the big things are not getting done. And number 4, I understand there's a lot of bullying going on. Didn't realize to the extent. I am not up to speed with it, and if parents are interested in sharing that, I would do the best I can to be involved to help that. I will say we had a son with autism go through this program, and I got to tell you, that was one of our biggest fears if he was going to be bullied, because he was not at the level of other kids. Obviously, he liked things a lot longer and maybe wasn't age appropriate, but I got to tell you, it was a great experience. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Masick. Mr. Oberkon.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming. I'm Josh Oberkon, and I want to start off by saying every single vote matters, and I thank everyone in the community for all your support so far. I earned a Bachelor's of Arts in Political Science with a concentration in law and a cognate in physical education from SUNY Plattsburgh, where I ran track and was a member and promoter of multiple organizations. I've worked as a paralegal, an office manager, and the director of operations for an interlock company overseeing 5 states. I'm additionally one of the former owners of the Fox and Kill Tavern in Bern. I currently serve as the director of the nonprofit Duanesburg Basketball Association. I'm the vice chair for the Schenectady County Republican Committee and the secretary for the Duanesburg Republican Committee. I'm a class of 2005 alumni of Duanesburg, a former basketball captain, summer camp coach, soccer player, cross-country runner, track sectional champ, and most valuable on the track team. I was a tenor section leader, and I was Conrad Birdie and Bye Bye Birdie. Duanesburg matters a great deal to the entire community, which is why my wife and I chose to raise our family here. Last year, I started a leadership scholarship to the Duanesburg Basketball Association to give back to the programs I loved growing up. The award is granted to a varsity boy and a varsity girl player demonstrating superior leadership on and off the court. Next year, I'm additionally asking our scholarship athletes to exercise their leadership skills by engaging positively with their peers to either help a bully better assimilate with their peers and act out less, or to help someone who's been a victim of bullying to feel more supported and seen by their peers. Additionally, I would like Duanesburg to adopt Senator Jim Tedisco's proposed Jacobs Law now and require the school to notify parents on both sides of any bullying incidents. Current state law only requires that New York State schools notify the Department of Education. New York City has already adopted a form of this, and they have to notify parents within 2 days. With a raise of hands, is there anyone in this room who wouldn't want to be notified of their child if they're being bullied? I don't think anybody would. Currently, I'm a full-time father to a future Duanesburg student and a husband to a dual board-certified physician who works hard as a medical director so we can raise our daughter and spend time giving back to our community that has given so much to me. We're both supportive members of the Duanesburg Volunteer Ambulance Corps, and we hope to see you at the upcoming Open House Vendor Fair, Saturday, June 13th from 9 to 4 p.m. Please come out and vote for myself, Josh Oberkon, and Brandon Bailey on May 19th. Submit your mail-in ballot if you can't make it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oberkon. We'll now start with the question portion of our talk tonight. So for question 1, we'll actually start with Mr. Bailey, and we'll proceed down the line and then back to Ms. Amorosi. So the question, and I can repeat it if you need, the first question is, what do you consider a balanced budget? What are the components needed to leverage the best outcome for our school and community? And you will have 1 minute. Absolutely. Can you stop the clock for a moment, please? Thank you. What do you consider a balanced budget? What are the components needed to leverage the best outcome for our school and community?
So a balanced budget is going to balance between student needs, resources, staff, teachers, um, all those needs, and facilities too. Um, I don't think that's being balanced right now, and the budget really needs to go line by line. I know cuts are tough because that puts us into a contingency budget, which nobody likes. Um, and every resource that goes into that budget needs to be um, taken with a lot of consideration. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. Mr. Mascherone?
A balanced budget is something that's going to work for the school district as well as the homeowner and the taxpayer. A balanced budget is a budget that would be something that works for good times and it works for bad times. When it comes to building a budget, it has to work for everybody. But in that sense, when it comes to a bad time, your years of budgeting before have built in enough of a buffer for you and a fund balance to be able to support the bad times. So you have good times and bad times. I also would like to chair a committee that sits and with the town of Duanesburg and the village of Delancey so that we can be together and understand what their budgets are going to look like throughout the year so that we understand where the school district is going to be and where they're going to be with their town and their village. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mascherone. Mr. Misick?
I feel a balanced budget for me in my years of doing budgeting is a little bit simple, which I know it's not, but you have a certain amount of dollars to work with, and you have to stay in those dollars. And when you do have the good years, like they've said, I agree 100%, you have that percentage put away for the rough years, like kind of like what we're dealing with now with the fuel cost and things like that. So I think it's a little bit easier to the degree of, because we have a fixed budget, you know what you're kind of getting from the taxpayer, you kind of know what you're getting from the state. I'm used to a little bit something different. My budget was always built on sales. And if you lost a big customer, a Walmart, et cetera, and you lost $3 million, you're making very tough decisions. You're taking trucks off the road, you're unfortunately laying off labor, things like that. It could be a ugly, tough situation, but that's what it is. And I do agree, I think as taxpayers, we should be able to see at any time, line for line. Thank you, my time is up.
Thank you, Mr. Misick. Mr. Oberkon?
What I consider a balanced budget is one that prioritizes students' needs, taxpayer concerns, and the future needs in an emergency. One that doesn't burden the taxpayers, but the priorities focus on the core needs with IEPs being covered, student curriculum needs being covered, and a multi-year plan to make sure that it's not only balanced for this year, but for the future, and hopefully one that doesn't burden the taxpayers additionally. One that incorporates grant writing as well to hopefully reduce taxes to the community in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oberkon. Ms. Amorosi?
I believe a balanced budget is one that meets the needs of our students. We have to have the money so that we can fund the programs that are going to make our students have the best shot at every educational advantage when they go out into the real world, whether it be for vocational, whether it be for college, whatever it be for the workforce. We have to prepare our kids for the best possible outcomes once they leave here. So a balanced budget is going to meet those needs. It's not always easy. In fact, it's a very difficult thing, but it is a business, and businesses need to put up the funds to keep running. So I feel bad that we have to raise taxes. It's one of my worst things that I always have to face in the past 6 years, but we need to balance the budget to offer the kids as much as we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Amorosi. For the second question, we will start with Mr. Masserone and proceed down the line. So for the second question, you will have 1 minute. How will you change the climate of the school?
I think the climate of the school, that's a very open-ended question in what the climate of the school actually is. When Joseph and I were raising Andrew throughout the school district, when he graduated, we said that we got a private school education for our tax dollars. That is something that I firmly still believe in. When it comes to the culture of the school, I think that Duanesburg is a very strong community. I've learned that living here. I truly still think that the school does have that. There's always room for improvement. And that comes with open communication with teachers, students, and staff. I have not sat on this board before, so it's very hard for me to nitpick and go about and say what is good and what is bad. But that is a goal of mine. If elected to this position, I would love to go and shadow the school and understand what the culture is and how the teachers, staff, and students are working together. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mascherone. Mr. Masick?
Could I have that question again, please?
Absolutely. Hold the time, please. How will you change the climate of the school?
What I think we need to do to change the climate of school, first of all, we have a very good school. I just think it's small changes. I think the Board of Ed should be doing monthly tours of the school, because I think the conditions of the school sets the tone to the school. And I could tell you, walking the grounds and walking the school that I've already have, it's not what it used to be. And I think we have to start with the simple stuff and then work our way up, because a lot of times the simple things solve a lot of problems. And that's how I feel would be a change.
Thank you, Mr. Masick. Mr. Oberkon?
I think the way to change the climate of the school is to try and actually find out what's going on. I've been reaching out to the community to try and understand things I didn't even know were going on, things that never happened when I was here. I've been hearing stories from parents on why they pulled their kids from this district, why kids are being bullied, and how sometimes it's not being handled well. Some people are upset with me, and I've been called anti-teachers union, which is a falsehood, because of the fact that I'm also asking parents to tell me if teachers are not properly engaging in this. I've heard that some are and some aren't. I do know that there's bullying going on, and I'd like to see an end to it, and that's part of the reason why I'm tapping on our student athletes to try and actively engage within their own peer group, because if we don't get the students involved to where they actually want to assimilate, it's not going to work. And if we don't get the teachers to follow school policy and the students, it's not going to work. We can't blame anything on the kids. This all starts with the adults first.
Thank you, Mr. Oberkon. Ms. Amorosi?
It would be very difficult for me to say, I want to change the climate of the school by doing blah, blah, blah. The climate of the school is going to be changed by all of us. It is not something that's we need to, it's the climate of society right now it's hurting. So we have to try to be positive examples for our kids and positive examples for each other. If we can't be, that's the thing that Duanesburg has always been good with, and I hope to see that come back again. I don't think it's gone. I think that a few bad apples have spoiled some things, and it's fine. The kids here do support each other, and I do think that everything is savable. It's not like it's gone forever. We are in a good area, and I think most school districts are facing some horrible problems. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Amorosi. Mr. Bailey?
So with a small school, I kind of agree with Tony on some bad apples will create a bad climate. Growing up in a small school, you're kind of under a microscope. With that said, I feel like, so I went to a school board meeting about the new proposed code of conduct, and it didn't really seem like there's much consistency with that. I still have yet to hear the final code of conduct. I just wish that it would be more followed more consistently, And also, there should be more communication with the school and the community. The school has our kids during the day, and then the parents have them at night. We need to communicate and collaborate in order to make sure that the climate stays the way we want it to. If we don't do that, then we're going to have a bad climate. And honestly, I don't know what the climate is because I don't really get too much information from the school. You get little bits here and there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. For the third question, we will be starting with Mr. Masick and proceeding down the line and then back around. This is a particularly long question, so I am going to read it twice. Okay. Federal law, state of New York law, board policy, and executive session rules all place limits on what board trustees and school officials can publicly discuss regarding students, staff, or ongoing matters. How would you approach situations where the community is demanding answers, but the district is legally unable to disclose key facts? So I will repeat that very long question. Federal law, state of New York law, board policy, and executive session rules all place limits on what board trustees and school officials can publicly discuss regarding students, staff, and ongoing matters. How would you approach situations where the community is demanding answers, but the district is legally unable to disclose key facts?
That's a tough question. The honest answer for me is I understand when I decided to run for this that there would be training that I would have to take, so I would follow the rules and regulations. So the safe answer is I would wait for that training to make sure I'm aware of what I'm supposed to do and not do. I am familiar with a little bit with my wife being a teacher's aide. We do not discuss kids, staff, anything at home because she's very tough and regimented on that. It's a lousy answer, but it's the honest answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Masick. Mr. Oberkhan.
I would make sure to adhere to all laws for anything that I'm doing while on school board. And I want to assure the community that I will confidentially work with staff, parents, to get and parents and students to get the bottom of all issues, as I already currently have begun working on some of these things.
Thank you, Mr. Oberkhan. Ms. Amorosi.
The law limits what you can say. There is no one that should know your business or anybody else's business. We have to protect students. We have to protect staff. This is it. That's what the law says, and that's what we will do. We follow that law right to the T. And yes, a lot of chatter goes on outside of it. It's just not right. It's just like middle school where you tattle on each other, and that can't happen. That's not how it's good. So following the law by keeping things confidential is a must.
Thank you, Ms. Amorosi. Mr. Bailey.
I'm on the same with confidentiality as number one. Obviously, for students, we don't want to put them in the limelight or open it up to any bad notations or anything bad to happen to our students. I don't know the state laws exactly. I couldn't state them verbatim. I would explore the possibility of keeping the identities confidential, obviously, but can we discuss these situations? Can we hypothetically talk about a situation that may be happening so that parents aren't blindsided by what's going on in the school, such as a Gazette article going out saying that there's a cultural issue at Duanesburg. Didn't know anything about it. I'd like to fix that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. Mr. Mascherone.
I agree with Tony's comment. I think that the laws are the law. One thing that's very unique about me with my career is that I interact with people on probably the worst day of their life, whether it's the smallest thing I think it is or it's the biggest thing to them. It's amazing what you can do with somebody when all you do is listen. So a charged parent that has an issue with something that's going on with the school district, the best thing that you can do is listen to the parent. Sometimes just listening allows them to talk it out with you and then be able to understand and internalize it. Unfortunately, there's certain things that you just can't talk about, but the listening to the parent going through an emotional situation, whether it's with a staff member or a student, can definitely de-escalate a situation. That has worked for me in my career. I'm not allowed to discuss things outside of work, but I can deal with them, and if a coworker wants to know something about it, you can just listen to them and what is their problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mascherone. For question 4, we'll start with Mr. Oberkon. I'll read this question twice because it is also a little bit longer. What is your decision-making process considering varying issues that may arise and may include staff, administration, community, political views, and students? I'll read it again. What is your decision-making process considering varying issues that may arise and may include staff, administration, community, political views, and students?
I believe it's important to make sure that everyone's heard and that everything's brought to the table. I think that your own personal beliefs should be kept out of most of these decisions. It all depends on what type of decisions being brought to the table, but every decision should be balancing all the players, the community, politics, staff, students, and parents. Everybody should always be involved in every decision you're making.
Thank you, Mr. Oberkon. Ms. Amorosi?
The job of the board is to oversee money and oversee the superintendent, and the decisions that go to running this school district are run by the administration, and we just oversee everything. I would love to be able to make decisions all the time that go one way or the other, but it is true that we need to remember that this is a democracy and majority rule. So even a decision that I might want to make isn't going to necessarily happen unless I have a majority of the people that want to do the same thing. So sometimes you have to make decisions that you don't like, but this is the job of the board.
Thank you, Ms. Amorosi. Mr. Bailey?
The board should maintain open and respectful collaborative relationships, having regular communication, joint goal setting, and genuine partnership between parents, teachers, administration, and the board. And I believe that decisions are made, or should be made, with full community input, not just a small group or select bodies. So I would want to get input from everybody before making a decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. Mr. Mascherone?
Decision-making processes are never easy. The easiest way to make a decision is what is the best interest of the students and staff. When you're sitting up here in your school board and you're on a board, no matter what it is, you're really running a business. So when you're running a business, it comes down to the staff and the consumer, right? And then having a budget that supports that. So the staff is going to be the people working for you, and the consumer are going to be the students. So what are the best interests of those two together? You have to be able to support both. You have a happy employee, that means you have a happy consumer. Works in business also. That has to happen here. That's a firm belief of mine. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mascherone. Mr. Masick?
Could I have that question again?
Absolutely. What is your decision-making process considering varying issues that may arise and may include staff, administration, community, political views, and students?
In 36 years of being in business and dealing with all types of customers, companies, I look at any kind of relationship, it's a partnership. So there's a partnership between the student, the staff, board members, and how does everybody succeed and also fix the problem that might occur. What I've learned in 36 years, there's never, if it's a one-sided situation, nobody wins. So I would go at it as just a community partnership would be my answer to that.
Thank you, Mr. Masick. Sorry, just a moment. Okay, for the 5th question, we'll start with Ms. Amorosi, and I'll read the question twice. How would you leverage your influence as a board member to increase the teacher retention rate? How would you leverage your influence as a board member to increase the teacher retention rate?
Duanesburg historically has been a stepping ground for many, many things, but when we get a good teacher, we need to keep those teachers. We have to pay them. Unfortunately, this isn't the richest district. I know that for a fact, and I live that for a fact. So we have to keep it so that they are attracted to stay here. And money isn't the only thing. We just need to have support from the administration. We have to keep a program going so that we can offer more things and try not to give, a ton of work. It's very important that the board show the support to the staff to keep them staying here and not going somewhere else. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Amorosi. Mr. Bailey?
I will always advocate for competitive compensation as much as the school can provide. Strong professional development, reduce unnecessary burdens, and a respectful work environment so our dedicated teachers choose to stay and thrive in Duanesburg. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. Mr. Mascherone?
I think the best way to leverage would be to understand what the staff's issues are, what's going on, and shadow them, right? I said that earlier on when I was talking. Stand back and shadow them. Go, see what's going on. What are the issues are at hand? What are they facing every day? What are their frustrations? What do they love? And then on top of that, it comes down to pay. I agree with everything that's already been said. How do you retain, right? And that's to keep people happy in a good work environment and then to pay them fair wages. We're a small school district, so it has to be within a small school district budget. That has to be totally understandable. But it's understanding the teacher. Get out, talk to them, find out what the issues are. If you do that, you'll understand the problems within the school district. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mascherone. Mr. Misick?
First of all, I agree 100% whatever the other three just said, but I want to add to that. It's culture. It's all about the culture of, and I'm going to use this word, this is a business, but it's for the kids, and it comes down to the culture. I will personally tell you, I walked away from a 22-year, I was employed for 22 years with a company. They sold out. The culture was horrible, and I walked away from the biggest paying job I ever had in my life. So I believe 100% culture is a game changer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Misick. Mr. Oberkon?
I think we should make sure that everyone feels heard and understood. We need to fix the communication gaps that I'm being told exist within our school system. I want to offer a bridge of ideas to the board and to the superintendent where teachers don't feel that they're being heard. Just like the parents are telling me confidential stories, staff members are as well. We need to fix this so all teachers know that they matter, and we need to end double standards on school policy enforcement.
Thank you, Mr. Oberkon. For the next question, we'll start with Mr. Bailey, and I will read the question twice. What are the top 3 things you think the district can do to improve school safety? So the question is, what are the top 3 things you think the district can do to improve school safety?
It's tough going first with a question like that. I'll just start off with, again, I went to the code of conduct meeting. I don't think it's completely polished. I think it could do a lot more work, and also there needs to be a lot more consistency with it and follow through. Number 2, you got to find out why there's bullying going on. I don't know if it's between the students, the teachers, administration. Obviously, there's the home and school gap. There needs to be more communication to find out what's going on at home, what's going on at school, and it needs to go both ways. And number 3, I'll just go with parent involvement. The school's got to engage with the parents and be transparent with them so that they know exactly what's going on with the kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. Mr. Mascherone.
I sat with Brandon at the code of conduct meeting, so I'll spin off of him and just say that I agree with him in following the code of conduct. It was a little eye-opening sitting through it for the first time and understanding what the code of conduct is and where we sit and what some changes that might be made. Safety within our building, I'm looking at three gentlemen in the back. I think our school resource officers are a huge tool. I don't know if they're utilized to their full extent. That's not for me to judge. However, I think that they are a huge, huge, huge resource to the school, and we're lucky to have a sheriff that supports that. And the other thing to keep it safe would be to be open with the counselors. Have the counselors be out there, if they can, more with the students so they understand what is going on, the culture. It's been talked about a bunch of times tonight, understanding what's going on. Is something going on at home? Can we stop something before it happens? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mascherone. Mr. Masick.
Absolutely a repeat of what the other two guys just said. Definitely more communication from the school, administrative to the parents. If it gets hit sooner, faster, we could solve the problem much easier, less drawn out problems that can occur with it. And I also want to talk about, also with safety, absolutely having our police officers staying and being involved with the program. I agree with it 100%. When I initially heard that they were not welcome, and that ended up to be false, thank God, I was happy that they're here. And I appreciate them they're here because my wife is here and they're protecting her, so I feel good about that. But also we have building issues that doesn't make our kids safe neither. Doors, windows, things like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Masick. Mr. Oberkon.
The top three things I would do to improve school safety would be to enforce school policies equally to lower disparity among our staff and our students. I think that we should bring back the carbon copy for detentions and make parents sign one for more accountability of our students. I think that the third one would be balanced discipline when there's problems that are occurring. It helps if we can nip smaller things in the butt, we won't see them fester. The more we let little things slide, the bigger the problems actually become.
Thank you, Mr. Oberkon. Ms. Amorosi.
Before I even begin it, I just wanted to state that I don't think our school is totally not safe. I think we have a pretty good safe place here, and I think most of our students feel that safety. Now, we need to maybe increase being out there and making sure that we stop the little things, because he's right, the little things build into bigger things. And if we don't stop them, then all of a sudden we do have a problem. We need to be visible in the hallways. We need to stop behaviors that people don't want to face either in your own home. And people need to support us by not allowing the language or not allowing the behaviors that are so often brought right back here, because it's the norm at home doesn't mean it's the norm in school. So we do have to be transparent with the rules that are going to be set, and we have to make sure as adults we follow the rules also that we're expecting our kids to follow.
Thank you, Ms. Amorosi. For the next question, we'll start with Mr. Mascherone, and I'll read it twice, although this one's a lot easier. What is the role of a school board member, and what does that mean to you? So it's, what is the role of a school board member, and what does that mean to you?
The role of a school board member is a voice for you, right? I sit up here asking for you to vote for me so that I can talk for you. Your concerns are my concerns. Whether you vote for me or you don't vote for me, if I'm successful, you can tell me to my face, I did not vote for you. And I'm still going to fight for whatever it is that is affecting you. That is the role of a school board member, as well as we've talked about it a bunch of times tonight, is to present you with a budget that works for you, your family, a retiree, and a new homeowner, and a parent within the district. That's the role of a school board member. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mascherone. Mr. Masick. Absolutely.
Yeah,
What
question.
is the role of a school board member, and what does that mean to you?
So what that means to me is that our job as the Board of Education is, for one, we manage the administrator. The administrators does not manage us. That's number one. Number two is definitely the budget. We have to be responsible. We have to be able to put it together where it makes sense for everybody, and it's just not a constant increase. That's number two. Number three, it just being understand that the community is voting us in, and our job is to do the best we can within the rules that we have to honor that. And that's what I feel it is.
Thank you, Mr. Musick. Mr. Oberkhan.
The Board of Education not only enforces policies through the superintendent, who is an employee of our board essentially, we're also capable of writing policies. We don't just simply have to vote on policies being passed down from the state. Every single school has the ability to write their own local policies and be directly involved on the impact of the students and the staff. We're also involved in budget decisions. Writing the budget, I think, should involve more of us involved with the school before anything sort of finalized and passed down. I think there should be a subcommittee on the budget. It's the national politics and state politics. So much is being done behind closed doors, and nobody knows anything until they say, hey, just vote on this. I don't think that's appropriate. The superintendent really does work for us, and we need to work with her to make sure that she's able to have the tools she needs to make sure that everything in the school functions properly.
Thank you, Mr. Oberkhan. Ms. Amorosi.
As I stated earlier, the role of the school board is to oversee the superintendent and the monetary use of money in this district, and to hope that we can make sure that no funds are being used inappropriately. The reason that I want to be a school board member again is because I want to be a part of this district, I guess forever. So you might be stuck with me. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Amorosi. Mr. Bailey.
So the primary role of the school board is to set policy, budget responsibly, hire and evaluate the superintendent, and advocate for educational excellence while remaining transparent and collaborative with the community. In Duanesburg, this means focusing on maintaining high standards in a resource-limited rural district, ensuring facilities are safe, and decisions reflect the values of our close-knit rural community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. For the next question, we'll start with Mr. Masick, and I will read it twice. Please explain your approach to conflict resolution and provide an example of how you manage a situation where emotions are high. So I'll read it again. Please explain your approach to conflict resolution and provide an example of how you manage a situation where emotions are high.
So I will use my history. So I've managed up to 65 employees at one time in my life. And trust me, between drivers, warehouse guys, and things like that, it could be very heated. So the first thing I would do is just separate the two people, if that's what it is, calm it down, and then give equal time to both of them to see what is the issue. And then calm that down the best we can, which usually when everybody takes a little bit of time and kind of realizes that it's going too far, I just think calming the situation down, giving equal time, listening, and moving forward from there, depending on what the issues are.
Thank you, Mr. Masick. Mr. Oberkhan.
Can you repeat the question one
Yes,
second?
no problem. Please explain your approach to conflict resolution and provide an example of how you manage a situation where emotions are high.
I think it's important to try and get people to actually work together. An example I'll have is with the basketball program I run, one of the rules I have is if somebody doesn't get along, if there's any sort of little fight, there's a 1-week suspension, then a 3-month, and then they're done for the year. But most we've ever had to do is a 1-week suspension for anyone. And generally, if people are getting chippy and not getting along, what I actually try and do is instead of having them work against each other, I put them on the same team. Some conflicts require space and understanding where you have to separate everybody and, talk things out and then come back together. But I think one of the best ways to work through conflict resolution is try and make people friends and work together than working against each other.
Thank you, Mr. Oberkon. Ms. Amorosi.
Conflict resolution I think what we need to do is to try to get people to talk it out with each other, but it can't always meet that. But we as a board have to listen to both sides and try to find a happy medium that will not benefit, but can kind of smooth through everything that's the conflicting sides. It's a difficult thing. You can't make everybody like everybody, and but you have to be able to work with them. And that's the goal, is to just make it to the point where you can get people to see each other's side and respect it. And I think that's the key, is that you have to respect the differences in people.
Thank you, Ms. Amorosi. Mr. Bailey.
So this one's a good one. So I deal with conflict resolution almost on the daily. People come and see me, and pretty much everybody is emotional because they don't want to be there in court. So my first thing is to de-escalate by lowering the emotion. You listen. You got to listen to what they're saying. I've noticed a lot of people over the years too that they're nervous because they don't understand the process. So when you explain the process to them, or give them any information that might help them, it reduces their nerves, and they're more open to talk to you calmly. With that said, when you are trying to have a resolution to a conflict, you have to be open and mindful of common goals. I know not everything that I want is going to be what we get, and vice versa. So we have to kind of work on the common goals and then branch off from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. Mr. Mascherone.
I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it's listen, right? So it comes down to listening to the person and the issue that's affecting them at that time. I'm lucky enough, I think with Brandon and his career also, is that I work with about 120 very unique personalities. They're very strong personalities. But listening is probably the biggest thing, and then also being approachable. If you're an approachable person, you can probably stop a conflict before it even starts, because that person feels comfortable enough to come to you as a person in charge before it maybe escalates to something else. So being an approachable person is the best way to stop a conflict. Now, that doesn't work all the time. I understand that. The other way, too, is to show them that you've had something that's affected you, trying to assimilate yourself to it, something that's happened to you, to try and, like Brandon said, to de-escalate the situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mascherone. Based on the time, that will conclude our questions portion. However, we will have 1-minute closing remarks from each candidate. We will start with Mr. Oberkon and then to Ms. Amorosi and down the line. So, Mr. Oberkon, whenever you are ready for your 1-minute closing remarks, please begin.
In addition to tackling bullying and bias treatment, I think we need to stop blaming COVID on the educational decline, when the studies show that the primary decline is continued use of the screen devices heavily pushed during COVID. Removing the big screens from our elementary schools and bringing back dry erase boards will help the learning retention, attention span, and the needs of fine motor skill development. This would help lower the budget while providing our kids with a proven better educational approach. A Norwegian study of 10th graders has proven that the same test administered on a screen versus paper had significantly lower scores. Digital reading often promotes skimming and shallower processing. Just because something's recommended by the New York State Department of Education doesn't mean our district needs to adopt the policy. Poor literacy scores in the elementary school are exacerbated by screen use. None of these young children were in our schools during COVID for COVID to hold any part of the blame in the educational decline, as our State Department continues to point the finger. Our school board can adopt a local policy to lower costs for our community and to help our children thrive once again. Kids need to know how to use computers, but targeted use for skills-based training is proven to be more successful than working on screens on a regular basis. Keep the computers in the computer lab. Kids need these skills, but not where it's proven to harm their overall retention of what's being taught. Thank you for your support, and please don't forget to vote next week.
Thank you, Mr. Oberkon. Ms. Amorosi.
I just want to thank you all for coming out tonight, and and I want to thank you for the trust that you've had in me for the past 50 years. My intentions have always been to give my all to the students of this community. I relish in the successes that I have been a witness to, and I will continue to be one of the biggest supporters of this district. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. I'll be back, and I'll see everything I can. Duanesburg is a very special place to me, and I hope that I can continue to be of service. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Amorosi. Mr. Bailey.
Thank you again for your time this evening and for everything you do to support our children and our schools. As a 41-year-old father of 4 daughters in this district, a U.S. Air Force veteran, longtime public servant, and active community member, I am running for the Duanesburg School Board with clear priorities, transparency in every decision, leadership willing to ask the tough questions, and real collaboration between parents and the school. I understand the challenges facing our rural districts, sustaining quality education with funding constraints, maintaining competitive salaries to retain excellent teachers, addressing facility needs, supporting student achievement, and ensuring a safe and positive school culture. I am prepared to set strong policy, support our dedicated staff, and advocate for individual student success, whether through special education, gifted programming, career pathways, or core academics. If elected, I pledge to always put our students first while working closely with the superintendent, teachers, and community, and keep our schools a source of pride for every family in Duanesburg. I respectfully ask for your support and your vote for myself and Mr. Obrecht. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. Mr. Mascherone.
I will also say thank you to all of you. It has been a pleasure to sit up here and present myself to you and why I think I'm the best candidate for this position. I'm here because I want to be here. I'm not here because I have to be here. I'm here because I love this district. I saw how our son thrived here and how well he did, and I know what the district has, I know what it's capable of, and I know that it can go farther. I know that. I have your best interests in mind at all times, no matter what. I told you this before in my speech, that if you vote for me, that is great. I would love your vote. If you don't vote for me and I am successful up here, I am still a voice for you no matter what. And you could tell me that you didn't vote for me, and I will fight for you no matter what. It has been a pleasure to sit up here. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Mascherone. Mr. Misek.
Yes, first of all, I do want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I know that everybody cares about this district and this community. We've been here for 28 years, and to be honest with you, me and my wife moved around a lot. We were not never thought we'd be really involved with the community, but we are. And now we have a grandson that's coming to this district, and that is one of my major reasons for running, because the one thing that I always loved about this school, my son with autism, the other 3 kids, it was always a great environment, and they're smart, educated guys, and they were military guys as well. And what they learned through the wrestling programs here and the teachers and things like that still carries with them today. Also, I will say that my boys are really proud that I'm up here doing this. So I'm running for my kids and my grandkids. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Misek. And thank you all for coming out to our Meet the Candidates night tonight. Please stay for our meet and greet in the back of the auditorium. As a reminder, all eligible Duanesburg School District voters may vote between 1 and 9 p.m. on Tuesday, May 19th at the DCS Transportation Building located at 9225 Duanesburg Road next to the elementary school. Qualified voters may vote by absentee ballot or participate in early voting if they are unable to vote in person on May 19th. Voters must first fill out an application with the district clerk. There are separate applications for early voting or absentee ballot, but the application process and deadlines are the same for both. Applications are available on the district website or by contacting the district clerk, Serena Killenberger. Completed ballots must be received by the district clerk no later than 5 p.m. on May 19th. And I would just like to say thank you to all of our candidates for coming out tonight, and I'd like to offer them a round of applause from all of us for being here. And with that, I wish you a very great evening. Thank you.